Okay, yeah, so the film which you just saw started off as a project which I was working with the Every Voices a group to produce. It was a film which was part of a campaign that they were trying to do, or they still are doing, to get Black history included more in UK schools. So it's part of a whole campaign, and I think that was something which is very important for people to know. So for me, my way of, I guess, of talking about the issue is through film, and yeah, I guess the film kind of spoke about what I felt. But yeah, look forward to hearing what you think.
Okay, I've got, I think I've got 2 or maybe 3 questions. So first one was, when you was in secondary school, what did you get in terms of Black history? Next one is, when did you get your first dose of Black history and what did it do for you? And then the last one is, do you have any little brothers or sisters, cousins, nieces and nephews, who you've been able to give them a dose of Black history, African history, and what did you see?
Okay, so the first question was, when I was in school, did I receive anything in regards to Black history? Yeah, when I was in school, I went to Geoffrey Chaucer School, which is in South East London. And do you know?
I know the school.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, Geoffrey Chaucer was an interesting school, but in terms of like actual Black history, I don't think. In terms of world history in general, I don't think we received that much information. We didn't receive a wide variety of things when it came to history. What I can remember about Black history was roots. Now, I remember at the time when I was in class, I was sitting down watching it, but I also remember like a lot of people in the class, because that was the only thing which they kind of saw about Black history, and this is like a 90% Black class, or 90% class which is, of different minorities, or different ethnicities. It was something which people immediately just tuned off from, because they didn't want to engage with, this is the only sort of thing which is representative of African culture, African history. So yeah, roots was, I think, what I got in terms of Black history in school. The first time I was engaged with Black history. See, I'd answer that in a couple of ways. I'd say the first time I was engaged was probably from when I was born, because Black history, I guess, because I'm from Edo State, which is a state in Nigeria. So when I was young, I received a lot of stories from my parents about the ancient kings, the ancient dynasties, and the different stories of what happened, even just common stories of my family lineage. So it kind of always was there. There was never a thing of, this is Black history, it was just, this is history, So it was always, really, just familiar with me. And the final question was about if, do I pass it on to the young people who...
Yeah, people in your family.
In my family, yeah.
You can say I've witnessed the change.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I wouldn't even say, I'd say it's more of just like a kind of knowledge, or just a understanding that this is our history, and this is part of who we are. And to be honest, yeah, most of the young people, in my family, did grow up with that understanding that, this is our lineage, and it's almost like I don't feel like there's like it's there, and I tell my brother, my nephews, my nieces. I have a 2-month-old daughter, so I'll tell her when she's older that this is just what it is in terms of there's a lot of information about it, but it's never been a thing where I felt that there wasn't enough information to tell, and we've got a wealth of stories and a wealth of history. I've never felt like there's been a poverty of history, to be honest. So it's just there. It's just as is if I'm talking about my country, or I'm talking about things I know. It's just there, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if I explained that properly. But.
Okay.
So I've got a question. You say that this whole project is part of a bigger thing,
Yes.
but it seems like where is it advertised? Because I think it seems like it's kind of undercover. Because that's one question, and the other question is when we talk about putting Black history into the education system, is it us that are teaching ourselves, the people? This country generally about history, or is it that we're dependent on other people to provide this information? Because a lot of people say that it's for us to teach our history. Like Chinese people, they teach their history. So isn't it for us? And how would we, if that's the answer, how do we go about doing that? That's clear.
Yeah, no, that's clear. I'll go with the first point. In terms of teaching history, initially when I first made the documentary, or I was asked to make the documentary, that was my first initial thought. It's our history, that's just teaching. But then there was an important point which Patricia Lamore made, which was when you come into London, Black or non-English speaking children make up the majority of that school. So I think it is just part of providing your clientele or your society with a rounded education that is necessary to teach.
So is it us providing us tools for the schools to teach?
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. I mean, this links back to sort of your first question as well. Every Voice, www.everyvoice.org are the people who would be best to go to in terms of the film itself. And what they are doing is they're sort of setting up sort of resources, like using this, for instance, as a resource to take into schools or to take to teachers to help them teach better. So it's a thing of like what they found out was some teachers may want to teach Black history, but may not have an understanding of what it is or of how to teach it. So it's about providing those resources, but also for us ourselves. I think that's a no-brainer. As you talk with your children or as you talk with people around you, we're all learning from each other. So I think even in discussion, we'll be teaching ourselves.
Okay, thank you very much, Nosa.